Hello everybody and welcome to the No Bones Fight Talk. We are here today in a bit of a change of scenery. We've travelled to the back garden of the fight sporting legend Danny Mitchell. How are you doing, Danny?
I'm good, mate. How are you?
I'm not too bad, thank you very much for coming on again. We've talked to you before, but we're here, like I say, a bit of change of scenery at Almond Boxing Academy, bringing back some memories of your youth, mate.
Yeah. I spent many hours in here, lots of time in here, so nice place to be.
Good stuff.
Yeah, cheers for having us.
Yeah, you're all right.
First up, mate, how are you feeling? You had major knee surgery halfway through last year.
Yeah, so obviously I fought November 2023 was the fight on BKFC, and then I've had this knee problem since 2007, 2008. So
16 years.
Yeah, so it was time to finally. I mean, it was a mess. So yeah, I've had surgery. That was kind of, after the BKFC fight, that was the next priority: is get surgery and get back doing MMA. That's what I wanted to do. So I've had the surgery middle of last year, and then just spent the rest of the year just recovering, really. And I was on the lookout for fights, but been busy with my own fighters and traveling around and stuff. Yeah. So, but it's healed as good as it's going to be now. It's way better than it was.
Time to give it a real test.
Yeah. So I've been doing some MMA training, and I went out to Thailand in January.
A bit of Thai boxing.
Yeah. So we did MMA. We went to Bang Tao gym. I've got a lot of friends there, and that's kind of the hub now for MMA if you're in Thailand. So training twice a day, grappling, Thai boxing, strength and conditioning. So that was kind of like the first fight camp, if you like, that I've ever started for a long time. Even when I was doing the BKFC fight, I was training once a day, just doing a bit of boxing.
Yeah.
That's all I did. Whereas now I'm training twice a day. I'm grappling again. So yeah, I'm ready to.
Feeling as fit as ever then?
Yeah, we're getting there, and the plan was to fight MMA this year. If you saw on the socials, I did get signed to GFL, the new organisation.
Yeah, Global Fight League.
Yeah, so there's been lots of stuff about that. They're signing all these old
The
fighters,
legends
old
a lot.
veterans.
Yeah. The legends a lot.
I kind of like it, and
Stop being so modest. We say legends, you say old guys.
Yeah. So I signed with them, but they signed over 1,000 people, but they could only have, I believe, 120 people only got onto the teams. So there's 6 teams of 20 people. But I thought I was in with a very good shout of being on the British team, the UK team. Obviously, there weren't that many UK fighters signed to the organisation.
That period, there were none, really.
Yeah. So I thought that this is it. We're gonna be sound. So while I was in Thailand, with that in mind, I knew that their first show would be April. I'm thinking, this is it. Get ready to fight in April. I need to start now. So the Thailand training in January was like a fight camp starting, like a pre-fight camp. Yeah. Get back from Thailand and then roll straight into this fight. So the last day, the sort of final Friday of training in Thailand, then I had the weekend, and then I was flying home. That was the day they did the GFL live draw, and I didn't get picked for the team, and it was a massive, because I was paying good money as well. So I've kind of thought, this is good money. I can make some good money this year. I have 3 or 4 fights double whammy, for GFL.
Injury free as well. Yeah.
That's it. I'm 38 years old. I've got a couple of years left at this, and then that's me. So I thought, this is it. So I kind of got myself really hyped up, ready for this opportunity, and it's not come off. I didn't get in the team. They did contact me afterwards and say, there's still potential. There's going to be dropouts and there's going to be changes.
It's kind of on bench for it.
But I'm not at the more. If something comes along, I'll definitely do it. Like again, they was paying very good money and stuff.
When they start April.
Apparently April, yeah.
It is a bit late, isn't it? If they leave it another week or two, there is no time for you to prepare, really.
Yeah.
You haven't specifically got to go for British team or English team, or you can go for
you could be on any team, yeah. So that's the thing. It's like there's different countries on different teams, and people have been swapping and changing. So I've just kind of put it out of my mind and thought, that's not happening now. That's done. I need to move on to the next thing, because I'd got kind of fixated on that, thinking this is what I'm going to do this year. This is going to be the thing. I'm going to do this, potentially fight. At my weight, there was Nyman Gracie, there was Tyron Woodley. I'm like, there's all these people who I could potentially fight. That's like a once in a lifetime thing. Just get, fight a Gracie or fight Woodley, fight a ex-UFC champ. But it didn't come off. So I've had to. That Friday in Thailand, I was eating well, I was training twice a day, and then that weekend I just went out, ate loads of shit, and I was like, I'm not training no more. I saw my ass a little bit.
What did you get up phone to Andrew Baker when you got back
then? So then I've got back, and then I'm thinking, right, what's next? So my good friend Connor Halliday is putting a show on at Doncaster Dome. He's putting BMF. It's usually at Barnsley. It's going to be at Doncaster Dome in May the 2nd. It's a Friday. So I thought, I've got a few of my guys on it, and I thought, you know what? Why don't I fight at Doncaster Dome? I could have an MMA fight, and it'd be something to train for, and then it'd get me back in the mix for MMA. So I'm thinking about it. And then I seen Lou Fuse put a post up saying, is there any light heavyweight, there's an opportunity on BKFC. So I just put some little eyes, like, as if to say, I'm still here. I'm still here.
Yeah.
So then Bakewell messaged me, because when he did actually say, do you want to fight in Manchester March 29th? And I said, well, no, because I've signed a contract with GFL and I'm potentially fighting in April. So if I'm on the team, I can't fight on any other organisation anyway. And they're doing a show every month. They're doing April, May, June. It's going to roll all the way through till like October or something. That's their kind of format. Different countries. Listen, whether it's going to
potentially have 4 fights in 6 months.
Exactly, which would be fantastic.
Yeah.
Whether it's going to work or not, I don't know. I hope and I pray it does, because it'll be great for people like me who's in the UFC and kind of like one last sort of crack of the whip.
Yeah.
So I hope it works out, and I hope everyone gets paid loads of money.
But like you say,
the
that does
door
seem
is
to be
still not shut, isn't it?
Oh no, it's not shut, but I'm just putting it out of my mind, because I was hanging all my hopes and dreams on that, and then when it didn't come off, I'm like, that's it. I need to move on to the next thing. So Andrew Bakewell messaged me saying, are you available now? Because I told him that, I'm possibly fighting for the GFL. So I'm like, well, yeah, things have changed now. I'm supposed to be fighting in Doncaster in May, but I'm open to the idea of fighting. So yeah, he sent me an opponent across. The first one I did agree to, but then he wasn't available. Then he sent me another one across, and I was kind of umming and ahhing about it. I slept on it, and then the next day I'm like, yeah, let's just fight.
Just do it, yeah.
So.
And who's that? Who are you fighting?
So I'm fighting a guy called Benjamin Lowe. I don't know that much about him. I know he was an amateur champion in the ABAs. And
boxing.
Yeah, for boxing.
I'm going to say, so you return to the ring. It is confirmed now. It has all been confirmed by BKFC.
Yeah.
It is next month, Manchester, 29th it'll be this month by the time this comes out.
Yeah.
29th of March in Manchester at Planet Ice, is it? Something like that.
Yeah,
I think that's
Planet Ice in Altrincham.
So it is going to be in Bare Knuckle. It's in Manchester, and it's going to be a second BKFC appearance.
Yeah.
It'll be a light heavyweight bout against Benjamin Lowe, as you just said. And what BKFC your preferred choice? Last time we spoke to you, you said that Bare Knuckle excited you a lot more than MMA. I know because you had this opportunity with Global Fight League there and pay and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's all it comes down. At the end of the day, I'm a prize fighter. I fight for money. So whoever's going to pay me the most money, I will fight. I will fight for them. Yeah, so the GFL were offering me very good money. I'll fight for them. There's other MMA organisations that I'm in touch with. If they've come along and give me a good enough offer, I'll fight for them.
Yeah, you mentioned Gamebred last time, didn't you? You had a bit of contact with them. Yeah,
so there's Gamebred. That's potential. I do actually have another fight lined up in the UK in July.
Nice.
Opponent is confirmed, and that will be bare knuckle under the original UFC rules. Yeah. So it'll be MMA, but it'll be under the old
Everything
rules.
goes kicks.
Yeah.
Elbows,
okay.
flying.
So that's something that excites me more than bare knuckle
Straight
boxing.
bare knuckle.
That's those original rules. So, but all focuses on the BKFC for this fight first. Get the win there, and then look at the next fight.
Look at numbers after that.
Since we last spoke, you quite surprised me actually, because you kind of made it clear last time we spoke that you only want to fight in bare knuckle, really boxing. That's all you want to do, purely due to injuries.
Yeah.
Because you had a back injury as well.
Yeah,
didn't you?
I've had a back injury.
I'm surprised that you're like, now. I'm back into
MMA.
So
now I've been back grappling and stuff, and I know that I can grapple at a decent level and not be injured. It's like, MMA's back on the cards now.
Right,
There's a lot more money floating
exciting.
around in MMA organisations. Obviously, I'm managing guys and taking guys to other countries to fight, so I get to see what they're getting paid and what deals they're getting and stuff. So I'm like, well, I can do this as well.
Yeah.
So
If you're fit as well and healthy,
exactly, yeah. And for me, it's just having something to train for. Like when I got back from Thailand, I was like, I can't be asked to train now and stuff. And then before the BKFC came along, as soon as I thought about this fight at Doncaster Dome, I thought, right, now I've got something to get up for every morning and start training. Then I got my mentality switched then I'm back in the zone training every day. So I need something to focus on.
Well, that leads me on to this question here, is what's goal for you at this point in your career? Are you just taking it fight by fight as it comes for fun, or have you got a bigger picture? Have you got a UK title in your sights, or a European one, even a world championship strap, anything like that? Or is
I'm
it
not
just
really
fight by fight?
asked. Just fight by fight. Like, I'm not. There's all these people that are chasing these belts. I want to be champ, and I'm going to beat everyone. I'm going to beat this guy and that guy, and I'm like, I'm just going to have this fight.
see what it takes.
And then let's see what's next after that, because there's always someone else.
Yeah.
Just suppressing that urge and that bug in it that you've got. That's how it is nowadays.
I think you might be better off with that as well, because a lot of these people who do chase that, the world title, and if they are good and if they do achieve it, after that they kind of burn out. They don't even want it.
Yeah.
When they lose it, they kind of it's off my shoulders now.
Yeah, that's
because,
it.
Heavy is the head that wears the crown, isn't it? So
yeah, and I mean,
once they get it, they don't want it.
I've spent years, fighting and trying to work my way up in different organisations and stuff. So I've kind of done it that many times now. It's kind of like, it'd be nice to fight for a title or whatever, but I'm in no rush, or I'm not, waking up every night thinking I need to win this belt. And
more of a young man's game, chasing them titles.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. And sometimes these belts, I'd rather have a really good fight, unless the belt there's an attachment of money to the belt as well.
Yeah.
If being the champ is going to bring,
more fights, headline acts and stuff like that.
Yeah. Then that plays
Rolls Royce in a driveway.
Yeah, that plays a factor as well. But at the end of the day, like I say, I'm 38 years old, and I'm just taking fights that interest me at the time. I wake up in the morning and think, this is what I want to do, and that's what I'll do. So I'm in I've got no aspirations to be like world champion in anything. Just enjoying.
There's nothing wrong with that, mate.
Enjoying the ride.
And do what you love doing. That's it, innit? It is going to be in BKFC. Like, so what do you think of that? Since you last fought with John Ferguson, you won in your first unanimous victory there, and your first bout in BKFC. 2023, it's been coming up to 2 years since that work done. How much do you think it's come on? Bare knuckle, and particularly that promotion, that organisation.
Yeah, I
know you kept yourself in and around it since, haven't you?
Yeah. Obviously, there's been a lot of growth. The bare knuckle scene super popular. Obviously, you got McGregor getting involved. We had the big show in Marbella. That was crazy.
Yeah.
Really good show. The arena was packed out. They were saying, it's sold out. And you think, they're saying that, but is it really? But when
really
we got there, it was sold out. It was genuinely sold out.
It looked like a great event.
Yeah, it was. Really good event and stuff. And, they keep stepping the level up with production and stuff like that. And more fighters now are coming into it. They're attracting better fighters. Like the bare knuckle scene used to be just like rough guys who could fight a bit, but now you're getting, obviously we've got
there's actual skill involved.
Yeah, you got like Deck Spellman now. He's coming over, so Deck helped me train for my last fight. Very good, former English pro boxing champion. So he's coming into it now. You're getting all these, top fighters, ex-pro boxers, MMA fighters are all coming into it. And
do you think he'll adjust well then, Deck, with his pedigree?
Yeah. He's got a good exciting style. He likes coming forward and that. And
there is also fighters now that there is also fighters that are now coming as well who never done anything else. So they're actually training from the young age just for bare knuckle boxing, isn't it? Which is kind of cool, I think.
Yeah. It's almost like a skill in itself, but it's like one of the young lads in this gym. And I've had a few young lads ask me, like, they're doing amateur boxing or whatever, and they're like, "Oh, I want to do bare knuckle." And my advice to those people would be, like, save it till a little bit later in your career. I think bare knuckle it's a little bit of an older man's game. Listen, you could be young and you could be very good at it, but your career will end way earlier than it would do, say, like, if you're an amateur boxer and you're looking at bare knuckle thinking that's the goal, then I would definitely look at doing pro boxing first and having as many pro boxing fights and getting as much money out of pro boxing as you can, and then stepping over to bare knuckle and kind of it's like a career finisher. That's where you end your career. You know, it's
a
not
lot more damage done.
Exactly. You don't want to start your career in bare knuckle because there's nothing after it. You know, you have your bare knuckle career, and then your hands are mashed, your face is mashed.
Oh, it's kind of what young Joe Lister's done, though, isn't it? He's jumped straight.
Yeah, he's jumped in, and I don't know what his plans are. I seen him with the podcast with Danny Christie, and he was kind of, he's talking about what to do next. I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do. So.
He's a mate of ours, mate. He absolutely fucking loves it. He loves bare knuckle.
Yeah, From what I gather, I think that's what he wants to do. That's the only thing he's seeing himself doing.
My cousin who trains here, I went and watched him fight in York, and Joe was actually the main event. It was an amateur boxing show, and he had a really good fight, and the crowd were loving it. So, he's a skilled boxer. He could turn pro, and he's got a big following. A big part of pro boxing is having a following and getting people to come and watch you. So he'd do well in pro boxing as well. I just think for longevity, that's the best course of action. Do you know what I mean? Like, go through the pro ranks, do what you can, even if it's just winning an area title or whatever, and then, coming back to it. But
looks like scar tissue as well, isn't it? He got a bad cut over his eye, didn't he?
Yeah,
deep cut over his eye.
That's it. So you're getting cut and stuff, and you're smashing your hands. So
a clever fighter will target scars as well, rather than because then that's it. Fight called off, isn't it?
That's it. Yeah.
Called off. Stop.
So in my opinion, that's the pathway. And the same if you're an MMA fighter. You have most MMA fighters is their goal to fight in the UFC. So you should aim for that, and then after that, fighting some different organisations, and then the BKFC is kind of a nice thing to do after all that experience. But if you start in the BKFC, again, like, say your career in BKFC is 5, 6, 7 years, then after it, there's nothing really. It's you can't really go to pro boxing then. You'd be a little bit too old. It's like, it's kind of, for me, BKFC and bare knuckle fighting is kind of the last thing you should do. So that's my advice to the youth.
Sound advice it is as well, so listen to that, guys. Save your face for a bit. Take all the damage when you're in your 30s, man. Wear the gloves in your 20s. That's what I'm going to say. That's it.
Yeah.
You've been busy outside at ring as well recently, doing your coaching thing. You've been over to Marbella, as you said, with Rico Franco for his championship bout there with Austin Trout in bare knuckle. You went over to Vegas with Amon Brownell for Dana White's Contender
Vegas,
Series. Over to Ireland with Oscar Owensworth, stuff like that. Are you fond of all that? Your annual trip to Thailand, as you say, which is I know you guys love over the ABT guys there.
Clocking air miles.
Do you like that, or would you prefer it all to stay in Yorkshire and just like leave it?
No, the travelling's a good part of it. That's one thing I say. Another thing about guys who are training, and like, especially if you're doing MMA, when you're fighting and training MMA and you're an MMA fighter, like, not everybody can make it to the UFC. Like, it's like everybody wants that, but you might be really, really good as well, but you just don't
get that opening.
Yeah, like, look at Bramhold. He got this shot on Dana White Contender Series, lost on there. He's come back. He's got a win. He's still pushing now for the UFC. We hope he gets it.
It's not over just because
that's
he lost
it.
That far, is it?
Yeah. So his name's still in the hat. We're pushing for it, and Bramhold's been training with me now for what, 12 years, something like that. So over 12 years, he's had all these fights. 12 years he's been working to get
Such
into
a
the UFC.
disciplined guy as well, isn't he, when we spoke.
And he's not there yet. Could he be there? Definitely in the next year. But it's like those 12 years, he's fought in Las Vegas, he's fought in Sweden. So as a fighter, you can travel the world and you can see lots of stuff. And I think it's like the journey is the destination, really. It's not.
I don't think you failed just because you
exactly.
don't make the UFC.
Like at the end of all this, say he doesn't make it to the UFC.
Yeah.
Say after 15 years, and you look back and you think, but you can look back and you be like, I fought in Las Vegas. Yeah. I did this, I did that. I did all these things just on the journey, just because that was the goal. The UFC was the goal, and I think a lot of people should, if you're an MMA fighter and
appreciate
that's what you're doing.
Well.
It's the journey, and it's I fought in the Middle East, in Jordan. I fought in Bulgaria. I fought in casinos in China. I've been at events in a forest in Moscow.
Yeah.
I've been.
They are honestly the badass when you see them. Jesus.
I fought in Kansas City on a week's notice. I've been in all these mad places and seen all kinds of things going off, and it's like it's been good. It's been.
So if you come back to these fighters, like you say, the ones that chase that title, they don't get to experience all that because they're so focused on that belt, and they travel, but then they don't really travel anywhere. They just go to from gym to the octagon back home, gym octagon back home, don't they?
Yeah.
They don't. I don't think they take their time to actually experience stuff.
Yeah, you got to sit back and sometimes just enjoy the fact. Before I went to the UFC, I fought in Sweden at the Globe Arena. It's a huge arena in Stockholm, and I remember just walking out for the fight and just looking around thinking, this is it. This is my UFC. Yeah. If I don't ever get to the UFC, this is it. Look around. It was full, thousands of people in here, and it was crazy. The atmosphere really good. Even though I'm fighting a guy from Stockholm, everybody's cheering me, and I won the fight. Everyone's going crazy, getting pictures and that. And I was like, wow, this is it.
Yeah, proper fans of that. Aren't they?
Yeah. Just soak it up, and luckily I did get to the UFC after that. But that experience in fighting in another country.
Just try and enjoy every step, innit? Even if you don't reach your ultimate goal, it don't mean you're a failure. It don't mean don't mean that you haven't done what you set out to do. Ultimately, you've got all that experience and traveling around the world. Seldom people get to do that, don't they?
Yeah,
in the chosen sport or the chosen
that's
career.
it. End of
the day, paid for and traveling.
Yeah, like especially when I was on the rise in MMA, like the pay wasn't that good. I'm fighting in these other countries and that. I'm not getting paid a lot of money. Yeah, and it's hard, but that's what I love to do. You have to love to do it. I get people now coming to the gym like, I reckon I could be like a pro fighter and that if I just train a bit and have a few fights. And it's like you have to live it if that's what you want to do.
Well, you did, didn't you?
Yeah, I was living in this gym, freezing my nuts off upstairs.
I'm sure there's hundreds of lads who's had a fight outside a pub that think they can win a world championship. It's fucking training.
It's crazy, yeah. So it's you got to live it. You got to live that life, and you're training 3 times a week. There's somebody out there who's training 3 times a day just to kill you, just so you lose. So you've got to really want to do it. You can't, if you're just doing it half-hearted, you're not going to get the results.
You're very disappointed.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, there's no time off.
You've got to have that fire inside you, which is clearly what you have, which is why it's brought you around to you keep doing it in organisations like BKFC after major surgery at the tail end of what is a normal career,
that's
age-wise
it.
and stuff like that.
For me, my career now is over. Like I don't expect to again be winning any world titles or anything like that. Maybe I could make a run for it. Who knows? But you've got to be realistic, aren't you? And
if it comes along, you'll kind of take it.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm just seeing where the journey comes, and I'm a busy man as well. Like I'm training, but I'm training other fighters, and I've got a family and stuff.
How many times do you go over to Leeds AVT though?
So I'm at AVT just twice a week. Twice a week, yeah. I'm there just in the morning working with, there's specific fighters who I'll work with who come to me on a morning.
How's all move been then?
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, we've got a new gym now.
Yeah, we haven't seen it.
Yeah,
yet.
it's
Only good to
nice.
see.
We've got some nice new mats to train on, and yeah, it's.
Has that all gone seamless then, or has there been?
There's been loads of problems, loads of headaches as normal. But yeah, the new gym's good, and you know
Better than the old one.
We're really busy. Yeah, it's just our own space. The old one, because it was a shared space, we've got to share it with the gym and stuff. And there's always people complaining and stuff. So with this, it's our own space, and yeah, we can take control of it a little bit more. So yeah, everything's good with the gym.
It's another thing that you love to do, isn't it? That coaching side of it, whether it be kids or professionals or like, you've got your fingers in a lot of pies there, haven't you? And
yeah, that's it. And I do a bit of coaching down here with the boxing and stuff, and I work with a couple of professional boxers as well. So I dip my toe in there. I need to get my pro. I'm actually licensed in Nevada. You know, so when I did my UFC, when I cornered in Dana White Contender Series, I got my license, my corner license for boxing as well as MMA. It's the same license.
Right.
But over here, I tried to use it, and the British Border Control like, oh no, you have to get a British license. So I'm like, well, at the show I was at, Roy Jones was there, cornering. And I'm like, well, has he got a British license? And they were like, well, no, but he's from America or whatever. And I'm like, well, I've got an American license.
And I'm from Britain.
Yeah. So I do need to get my British pro boxing license. But at the same time, they don't like, you know, the bare knuckle stuff and the MMA stuff. So you got to be very careful. But again, I do work with a couple of boxers, so it'd be nice to get more involved with that side of things as well, with the boxing. And
would the boxing look down at that sort of thing then, do you think?
Yeah.
Put themselves on a pedestal.
Yeah, they're just, yeah.
What's your plans for this campaign? How far into it now?
Well, we've only got 5 weeks from now to the fight. When this podcast comes out, it might only be 4 weeks.
Yeah, it should be turned around in about a week.
Yeah. So yeah, training's going well. I'm training twice a day. I do a little bit of training here. Yeah, I've got my camp pretty much set up. I've got my regular sparring partners who I spar with. I spar with Rico every week. We do some rounds. Obviously, I've trained Rico for, again, the last 12 years. Like, him and Bramall came to me at a similar time.
All right. Okay.
So I've trained him for a long time. And obviously, Deck's involved with us now. I train a bit with Deck. Rico trains with Deck. We just have we've got a good network of people that we all kind of move around and train with different people. So, yeah, I hit pads this morning, and I did my strength and conditioning this afternoon. And then I've come down here, taught a bit of a boxing session, and now I'm with you guys. So I'm busy, and then tomorrow I'm grappling in the morning. I like to keep, even though I'm just training for a boxing fight, twice a week I will grapple and I'll wrestle, so that I get that clinch and I get that.
Where do you do that? AVT?
AVT, yeah. So I've got some very good grapplers and wrestlers there who I'm coaching and training alongside. So yeah, so I make sure I still. The last time when I fought John, I didn't do any grappling,
right?
Because I had the knee injury. So I did strict boxing training. So
you didn't do any clinch stuff then?
Not really. A little bit when in the sparring. So when I actually fought John, when we clinched up, I just kind of just neutralised the clinch. I didn't really use it.
It's a big thing now, isn't it? That's where I think bare knuckle really changed in recently. Everyone really uses the clinch.
Yeah, using that clinch. So I'm twice a week now. I'm working on clinching and stuff. And obviously, I'm pretty good from the clinch when it comes to boxing. So when I spar with like amateur boxers or pro boxers, when I grab them and stuff, they don't know what's going on.
It comes from MMA, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's like MMA style. But John is actually very good at it. John Ferguson, who I fought, he was quite good at it. So I just kind of neutralised the position and just reset and went back to what I'd been working on, which was just technical boxing. So
yeah, we recently spoke with Matty Hodgson, and he was saying a lot about the clinch work that were in there when he had his recent title fight with Conor Cook.
Yeah.
And he was saying he wanted to get more work done in clinch, didn't he?
So he actually sparred with me for that fight.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. So I'm actually going to spar with Matty. So Matty was one of my students for a long time. Yeah. But the thing with AVT is obviously like Rico. AVT is an MMA gym, and we focus on MMA. It's not a boxing gym. So back in the day, we'd have guys fighting boxing rules one week, K1 the next week. But over the years, it evolved more into like you can fight MMA every week now, whereas back in the day it was hard to always have MMA fights. So we would always cross, go to different promotions, be like, oh, this month we'll do this. Well, let's all jump on this boxing show and
to keep you sharp, keep you
that's it. But nowadays,
it's all structured now, isn't it?
Yeah, because there's more MMA now. We focus more on MMA. So sometimes promoters will ring me and say, "Oh, have you got any lads for this K1 show?" And I say no, because all the guys are doing MMA. Like, they don't need to do that anymore. They don't train specifically for that, which we didn't do in the past. But so that's like with Rico. That's why we got Deck involved. So now he can concentrate more on boxing with Deck, because that's his speciality.
Yeah.
And then same with Matty. Matty went over to Golden Team training there because they were focusing on boxing. So that was his focus. So, like I say, I trained Matty for all of his MMA fights.
How was Rico come on in this time since you've been training him? No, he's concentrating purely on boxing or bare knuckle.
Yeah, he's obviously... since his operations and stuff like that, he can't do any. I mean, he has said that he could grapple. He said, "Oh, I think I might be able to grapple a bit now, but I wouldn't recommend, kneeling on his belly and stuff like that." So, but yeah, obviously he's coming on, and he's, even back in the day, he was sparring with pro boxers and stuff like that. So, he's when you focus on something, you focus on one skill, just boxing. Obviously, you're gonna improve it, aren't you?
Yeah,
the thing is with MMA, it's kind of a jack of all trades thing, and that's kind of at the end of the day, I'm an MMA fighter. I ain't a boxer.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of boxing fights,
Yeah.
and I've beat a lot of good boxers, but I'm not even a boxer.
I mean, most people would probably put you as a grappler first and foremost.
Exactly, yeah.
He's a very good one as well.
Obviously, I don't know how the gym you have now, how it looks, because we've never been there. I can't wait to see it, but your last gym, do you know when most of the gyms you walk in, or it's a boxing gym, or it's like whatever, yours, or like you walked in, there is sambo mats in the middle, octagon on the right, ring on the left. You're like, yeah, this is MMA. Like, you knew that immediately.
Yeah.
Cool. I think it's the coolest gym I've ever been to.
It was.
No, it really was. Yeah.
Yeah, nice. That's it. That's our focus now. We used to be, again, we do a bit of boxing, we do this, we do that, but now we're focusing more on MMA. Like that is what we are. We are an MMA gym, so that's what we're going to focus on. And let's get guys in the big promotions, PFL, UFC. That's kind of the thing now. Whereas again, before we was just a group of fighters who would just fight any rules. Just for the experience.
Any given day, yeah.
That's it. But at the end of the day, if you're going to fight K1, go to a K1 gym. If you're going to fight boxing, work with a boxing coach, and that's how it needs to be. Again, I'm just playing at all these. Like, I could enter, a grappling competition one week, and then I could have a boxing fight the next week, and that's just how my.
Just do it all, bring it all on.
Yeah. Again, at the end of the day, I am an MMA fighter. Like, the best style for me to fight is the style with the least rules.
Well, that makes sense why you're interested and excited in what's coming up then in your bare knuckle MMA fight. How many sort of events are like that? As you said before, back in the day when you first started, there weren't many MMA bouts. Is it similar that now with this bare knuckle MMA? Is it hard to find events?
Yeah. It's pretty much non-existent. You've got King of the Streets, which is, the extreme end,
gouging
because of the gouging and biting. That's what I don't want. I don't like that.
That feels more like street fight and pub stuff, doesn't it?
It is, yeah. So I'm more interested in, like, the first time I saw MMA was UFC 3. And that is what I fell in love with. So
I think I saw
go and watch
first.
UFC 3 and imagine that you'd never seen
those fucking big blokes and little blokes.
That's it.
Open weight.
Like, I'd seen boxing and I'd seen Thai boxing and stuff like that before, but the first time I saw, like, everything mixed together, it was UFC 3, and I watched it on a tape, and I was like, wow, this is what I want to do. I want to do this. And then over time, I've learned, striking, grappling, wrestling, put it together. I've had amateur fights, pro fights. I've fought all these different rules. But the one thing I haven't done is the thing that I originally wanted to do. So it's like, almost going back to the start
Like
now.
full circle type
That's
thing.
it.
Yeah.
It's like that is what I wanted to do. I didn't want to do, 3 5-minute rounds, 4-ounce gloves. You know,
because there were no runs there.
Yeah,
Remember
yeah.
that? Yeah. They were just going till
what-
the end. That's
it. So this fight I'm going to have is going to be no rounds, no gloves, limited rules. So no biting, no eye gouging, no kicking in the groin.
Yeah.
Everything else goes.
They struggle to get venues for it, don't they? And
Yeah, but with the rise of like bare knuckle boxing now, it's actually making it easier because it's just bare knuckle. It's we can
They're
market
proving it can be done safely.
exactly. Yeah. So whereas back in the day, if you said bare knuckle boxing, people say that's illegal. But it's not actually illegal.
I mean, they're not hiding it very well if it's illegal.
Yeah,
to be
yeah.
fair, mate.
Well, they were for a while. They were fighting in woods, weren't they?
Yeah, that's it. You could organise it and have it in fields and stuff like
Yeah.
that. I've done one in a field before, bare knuckle fight, an organised one.
when you're about 15,
Yeah, I was only a young lad, and I fought a fully grown man as well. But
That's definitely legal.
but again, now they can book out the O2 Arena and have a bare knuckle fight in there,
Yeah.
which a few years ago you wouldn't think that'd be possible, but now you can book these venues.
it's come a long way in a short space
Exactly.
of time. hasn't
So just saying, right, well, we're going to do a bare knuckle event, but it's going to be MMA. That's much easier to get over the line now because it's just MMA, but with no gloves. That's it's not much different. So that's
And that's
the
in
plan.
Doncaster in April, did you say?
That is going to be in Hull.
In Hull.
And that's going to be in July. So I've
Hull
got
in
a bit of time because obviously I'm fighting in March. Now, who knows what state I'm going to be in after that fight in March. I might be hands bust, face cut. We don't know. So that next fight's in July. So there's plenty of time between to heal up and get ready. So, but again, I'm not,
And
focused.
depending whether Global Fight League give you a call. as
Yeah,
well.
if they call, I'm there. I'm fighting. Again, it's down to money and stuff with them. So
Or could you get an offer from BKFC after if you do well in next fight? You
I
never
mean,
know.
it's possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's possible, definitely. But this fight in July is something I want to do. It's like a bucket list thing that I need to do.
Right.
So, and so
So this BKFC is for you is kind of necessary as well because you haven't been in a ring for how long now?
it's been it'll be like 14 months.
It will be a bit of a ring rust, won't it?
Yeah. So,
It's a good thing then.
yeah.
Fighting BKFC and then
yeah,
fighting
I
July.
hope-
Yeah.
That's it. It'll give me a chance to step back in there. But even saying that, like when I fought that last BKFC fight, I had a boxing fight like a couple of months before,
Right.
and then before that, I'd not fought for a long time as well. So I had a bit of ring rust, so to say. But I've had that many fights now that the ring rust isn't as
Doesn't apply to you anymore.
Yeah, that's
You're,
it. It's
you're
not
not
as
coming
bad.
off sofa though, are you? You're actually keeping active.
Yeah,
in
that's it.
between,
I've been
aren't you?
sparring and stuff,
Yeah.
so I'm in a much better position coming into this fight than I was going into the last BKFC. If
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like I'd had way longer off before the last BKFC fight than I have for this one.
Yeah.
So, and I'm better injury wise. Like the last spar, so I sparred with Matty Hodgson the week before my last BKFC fight in that back room there, and my knee popped out in the last. It was, I think we did 6 or 7 rounds, and in the very last round, my knee popped, and I was like, shit. And the
What,
next,
you just pop it back?
yeah. And the next day, it was really sore. And then I thought, I hope this doesn't happen in the fight, So, but I got through the fight, and then eventually got the knee surgery. So this time, I don't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
It's not something
it's
that's.
done.
Whereas every time I fought before, the knee is always on my mind. I'm like, what if my knee gives way? What if it pops in the middle of the fight? What am I going to do? How am I going to
Yeah.
I'm going to have to. Do I go down and then get my knee back in and stand back up and just take the knockdown, or what do I do? Whereas now. I don't have to-
Realistically, you could because they counted 20, so
Yeah.
there's no reason for you could.
Yeah, so
If doctor sees it, or ref might call it off though.
yeah, maybe so. But I don't have to worry about that now. It's
Yeah.
fixed. So
That's it. Hopefully, all that surgery's going to hold up well, and it holds up well for you in that whichever way you go, whether it's BKFC, BKFC MMA, or back in MMA. Octagon
Yeah,
ring
we'll
or
see.
whatever.
We'll see where we end up.
We definitely wish you all the best, mate. Have you got anybody you want to shout out, sponsors-wise, or anything like that?
Yes, I have got some sponsors. I will just double check my phone because I've got some here. So big shout out to my main sponsor, Cerberus Fire Protection. So they do like fire doors, fire risk assessments, all that stuff, fireproofing buildings and stuff. So they're a local company who are supporting me this year. Metro Gym in Hull. So if you're in Hull, check them out. Good old school lifting gym. No kids allowed, so there's no kids running about. Breathe at Manor Farm. So Breathe, you might see Rico there. It's a sauna, ice bath, all that kind of good stuff. Cryo.
All the new technology stuff.
Yeah, and they do breath work. You know, it's a real cool place. So I'm going to be doing some sessions there up to my fight. They're supporting me, so big thanks to Mark. UK Sandbags, thanks to Craig. So if you need sandbags, we're in near Fish Lake here, which gets flooded every year. So we need a lot of sandbags. So yeah, if you've got a traffic management company and you need sandbags, or you're in a flood area,
explains why they're based around here.
Then you need them. And Hunter's Kitchen in Thorn. So in Thorn, we've got a nice little cafe called Hunter's Kitchen. They do nice food. They always look after me. So shout out to them as well.
Excellent. Get on board, everybody. And if there's anybody that wants to jump on board with Danny and sponsor Danny out there.
Yeah, we're always looking for fighters. Are always looking for sponsors, and like I say, we don't get. People think we get paid millions of pounds to do these fights and stuff, and it may look super glamorous and that, but we spend a lot of money on training and traveling and nutrition.
People forget you only have 2 or 3 fights a year. You might get a decent purse for one fight, but if you're only doing 2 or 3
that's
a year,
providing if you win.
Exactly. Yeah. So sponsors, sponsors are massive in the game.
It's important. It's important to bring sport that we all like watching.
And it's important. Again, my advice for fighters is, get active on your socials, and if you do get a sponsor, promote them and try and help them, because if you look after a sponsor and you promote and you get them business, which is what
together,
that's it, which is what sponsorship is about. If I can promote these businesses and help them, that's it. Yeah. They will be happy. They'll sponsor me next year. Maybe they'll give me more money, and it helps everyone. So sometimes fighters have this thing, and I have it with some of my fighters. I'll get them a sponsor and like, oh, nice, logo on my shirt, never speak about them again. I've just got some free money. And it's like,
it's got to be a two-way thing.
That's it. Sponsorship has really got to be, you're trying to promote them, you're trying to go out your way to, push their brand. So yeah, that's just a bit more advice for fighters, really.
And it's welcome advice, I'm sure, Danny. And most fighters have got all their information up on their Instagram pages, their Facebook pages, or anything like that. They've got the contact details, the post sporadically, don't they, how to get in touch and how to do sponsors. So yeah, anybody out there interested in it, jump on board. It's a growing sport, especially it's BKFC, and then people like Danny, who's got a big following from his whole career. It's definitely worth it. And while you're at it, give us at No Bones Fight Talk a like, a follow, a subscribe as well. We'd appreciate that. Thank you very much for coming in to see us again, Danny.
Thanks for coming down.
Absolute best of luck. Hopefully you can keep going as long as you want to keep going, mate.
That's it, till the wheels fall off.
That's it, man. We will be there in March on 29th of Manchester, and we'll be
supporting you.
In your corner, or at least until we interview your opponent anyway. Thanks a lot.
See you there.
Cheers, lads. Cheers, Chris. Cheers, Rich. Cheers, Danny. Thanks a lot. See you later.
Bye-bye.
The No Bones Podcast.